Welcome to OnCore Live and our last webisode of 2022. I'm your host, Robin Bell, and we're really glad that you're here with us today. On today's show, we're going to be discussing industry insights. Now, for those of you joining us for the first time, the Industry Insights sessions bring experts and thought leaders together to share their knowledge about today's most meaningful industry advancements and growth opportunities. We've got some great interviews coming up for you today. So get ready, because today's guests are going to give you information, insights, and sales strategies that will help you drive results in 2023. We're going to have a question and answer at the end of the broadcast, but you can certainly send those questions to us at any time during the broadcast, and we'll answer them a little bit later in the program. And please post those questions in the Q&A tab on your meeting toolbar and not in chat. During today's OnCore Live, we're going to talk to Tom Zimmerman, Principal of Shift Sales Training and Consulting. Tom's going to shed some light on a few trends that he's seeing that could help impact the sales channel in 2023. In addition, he's going to share some of his best sales starter tips for opening up a conversation that can lead to sales success. And we all like that, don't we? Why don't we start our interviews today by meeting Avery Dennison Performance Tapes' new Vice President and General Manager, Dave Collins. Now, Dave is joining us on OnCore Live for the first time in his new leadership role. We're going to be talking with Dave about his background, his career with Avery Dennison, and also he's going to give us a preview of the key growth opportunities for converters. And with that, I want to say welcome to OnCore Live, Dave. We're very excited to have you here with us today. And by the way, congratulations on your appointment to this new role.
Oh, thank you very much, Robin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So Dave, would you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, so my name's Dave Collins. I'm originally from the Detroit area. I'm married with 4 kids ranging from the ages of 5 to 14. Certainly enjoy spending time with the family, coaching my kids' sports in particular, some baseball and basketball. And then whenever I can, I like to get out and golf and watch sports, as I'm a pretty avid sports fan as well.
Yeah, you and my husband are of like mind. And I love the fact that you've got a large family. I'm one of 5, and I know it's a lot of fun, a lot of work, but a lot of fun.
For sure.
So let me ask you this. You've had a long career with Avery Dennison. Would you tell us a little bit about your professional background?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, I'm a Buckeye, graduated from Ohio State, and then went to John Carroll, which is a local school for my master's. And then, but I've spent most of my career in product management. Before I was at Avery, I was working at a vacuum cleaner manufacturer, Hoover Dirt Devil, and then moved over to Avery Dennison here, where I spent, as I mentioned, most of my time in product management, product development. So that's always near and dear to my heart. I spent the last 5 years, though, as the general manager of our fasteners business, after working within the label solution business for quite some time. So, and throughout my career, I've been really drawn to sort of the unique and complex world on that side of that product portfolio, which is why tapes is a very exciting opportunity for me, and look forward to really embracing this challenge.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that you'll be faced with some challenges, but it sounds like from your background that you are well equipped to do this. So would you mind telling us a little bit about your current responsibilities with Avery Dennison Performance Tapes?
Yeah, for sure. You know, first of all, we want to make sure that this business is a very customer focused, market focused business that's really meant to drive, let's call it product solutions, or be a solution provider versus a product supplier. So I think that's the first thing in terms of who we truly want to be. And as part of that, my responsibility is to empower the team, the individuals, the ability to take ownership and drive us towards that, and provide them the tools to be successful. and make sure that we're delivering upon meeting our customers' needs. And that flows into, making sure that we're a high quality, high service supplier for all of our customers, somebody that the customers can count on, not only for new product development, but also for day-to-day service and supply.
Yeah, so listening, I think, is key. One of the keys to understanding what it is that your customers needs. So, talking about your customer centric focus, which leadership and with your leadership and direction, how will Avery Dennison help converters grow in these next few years?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing we just need to make sure we're continuously doing is listening to our customers. My goal in this role is to get out and visit as many of them as I possibly can, but also make sure that our team is consistently listening, asking questions, learning about their challenges. And then as part of that, making sure that we're delivering upon those challenges and making sure we're delivering high quality products, that we're a consistent, reliable supplier, somebody that once again, they can count on. And I think those are key tenets of our value proposition. We also want to make sure we're partnering with our converter partners to attack critical growth segments, right? Whether it's EV battery, whether it's building or construction or any place. We want to make sure that we are working with them to help them grow, because as they grow, we grow.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned new products. Is there anything new that you can share with our viewers?
Well, we always have a bevy of new products, from our cold tough to our EV battery portfolio, but probably the most exciting thing is the new coater that's in progress, that you can see here on the slide. The new coater should be up and running here in early Q3. And it's really a phenomenal asset that's going to give us a ton of capabilities above and beyond even what we have today. It's going to be a fantastic toolkit for our team to really, once again, deliver solutions for our customers. So we're really excited about not only the capacity it gives us, but it's really the capabilities that this wonderful piece of equipment will deliver for us.
Yeah, and open up for you, opportunities open up for you. I've got one last question for you. As our viewers are preparing for 2023, what growth opportunities for converters are the most exciting to you?
Well, I think EV battery that I mentioned is a very exciting space. It's a little bit like the Wild Wild West right now, where everybody's sort of finding problems, trying to solve problems. And where does PSA come in and PSA tape come in to help them solve those problems? So it's a very exciting time because there's a lot of work going on, a lot of projects focused on flammability and dielectric insulation. So I think that's one piece that we're very excited about. The other one is automotive electronics, or ADAS, which is also very interesting. And you talk about the digitization or the connectivity of a car or any sort of vehicle, and the fact that it's still requires things to be held into place and communicate with each other. So there's a lot of pretty cool stuff going on that we're participating in that market as well, with sensors and cameras and our tapes being used. And then last but not least, also building and construction. We are focused on this segment and do have a team focused on it and looking at ways we can, improve performance, improve costs, maintain quality or grow quality. Environmentalism is a big thing, and sustainability. So how do we help them create solutions that reduce energy usage within the home? So a lot of very cool stuff going on in that place, where PSA tapes play a major role as well.
This is a really exciting time for PSA tapes. Would you just touch lightly on value chain, if you would?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, as you look through the value chain, our responsibility is to properly manage it. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a challenging time throughout the value chain, all the way, from our suppliers, all the way, obviously, to our customers. So, our job is to be a consistent supplier, and to do our best job in managing that value chain and finding the best and optimized value chain to deliver those solutions as well.
Yeah. Well, Dave, this has been great. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been a really good talk. You've got me excited, and I'm sure a lot of others excited about the momentum that you're driving as we look to this new year.
No,
Well,
thank you, Robin.
oh, you're welcome. Glad to have you here. Dave, you're not going away just yet. I'm not getting rid of you yet. Dave's going to be back at the end of this talk today to answer some questions for you. So stick around for that, Dave, if you would. Just as a reminder, you can send those questions to us anytime. Post those questions in the Q&A tab on your meeting toolbar. Joining us now is Tom Zimmerman. He's the principal of Shift Sales Training and Consulting. Tom has extensive sales expertise and training experience, and we're really happy to have him share his knowledge with us today. Hey, Tom, welcome to OnCore Live. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Robin, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, good. It should be a fun time. So, Tom, why don't we start by having you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure thing. So I grew up in Indiana, came from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather, my dad, both started and had their own businesses, largely around automotive, whether car dealerships or auto parts. And I grew up in the business. Growing up in the Midwest with a name like Tom and selling auto parts, I am the real life Tommy boy. Unlike Chris Farley, I don't think I lit anyone's desk on fire, but I did travel the Midwest selling auto parts. I went to Purdue University and actually majored in selling and sales management. Have a minor in organizational leadership and development. And from there, went to work for Trex Decking. Spent some time in the building material space with Trex Decking, AZEK Building Products. Led a team with a company by the name of Boral, helped launch them into a new segment of their overall business. Spent some time with a tool and equipment distributor by the name of Grand Quartz, and decided to follow my passion of sales strategy and people development, and started Shift. And I live in Georgia, been here about 15 years, have a beautiful wife and 3 lovely children.
3 lovely children. That's really nice. I hope they're listening to this. So you've got a very robust background in sales, training, and organizational management. In 2019, you founded Shift Sales Training and Consulting. You mentioned that a moment ago. What is Shift all about? Would you tell our viewers?
Yeah, Shift is really all about helping my clients. Clients come to me when they're trying to find the next gear, say, in their business. Maybe they don't know where to turn next, or how to drive to find their next level of performance. As we have my logo on the screen, you can see the stylized H there. We've got a red dot in the upper right corner. Well, that represents a manual transmission in 3rd gear. So like sales, you want it to go up and to the right, but we have room to find a 4th gear and find one more bit of value to squeeze out for our customers. So that's what I do, whether it's from training to aligning process, making the sales teams more efficient, or rather making sure sales and marketing march hand in hand. So one's feeding the other and they work together as opposed to 2 separate forces within the company.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is like a sales philosophy as well as a strategy. And speaking of strategy, as a sales professional, what opportunities do you see that can boost sales for 2023? Have you got any ideas there?
You know, Robin, I guess we're all a little insane. We try doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And whether it's 2023, what's left of 2022, or wherever someone else is in their sales journey, I've traveled with thousands of salespeople and worked with them over the years, and we all struggle with listening. And we need to be better listeners. And it's not just like I tell my son Tucker, hey, you listen. Maybe it's a little bit more colorful than that, but no one really understands how to listen. But it's not their fault. They're not really taught to listen. As we're brought up and through our educational system, our kids are taught and ourselves are taught to write. We get 12 years of writing. How do we make our A's to all the way to writing essays? We get 9 years of reading education. The newspaper is written on a 6th grade level. Well, we get reading education for about 9 years. Potentially in high school, we get some speaking, how to speak, public speaking for about 2. But no one's ever really taught to listen. But if you really think about what we do day to day, and especially a salesperson, what we are taught is the inverse of what we do. We spend about 40% of our time listening, 35% speaking, about 16% writing, and reading, and only about 9% writing. So what we're actually taught to do is not the most critical. And as salespeople, we have to identify value from our clients, and we don't get that by telling them about it. We get it by listening and understanding their point of view. So we have to be better listeners.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, Dave Collins and we were just talking about that, how listening is key to understanding what your customers need. There's definitely a need to listen. Why don't we dive a little bit deeper into listening? Why is that so vital?
So again, we're never really taught how to listen, and most salespeople think that they are there to talk about their product and what they are selling, as sales is something they do to someone, not something they do with them. So we don't even want to listen to or respond. We want to listen to understand. And drawing on an automotive analogy, let's go to Henry Ford, right? Henry Ford created the first automobile, the quadricycle. But when he asked people what they wanted, they said they wanted a horse that didn't get sick, that didn't get tired, that didn't eat as much. Maybe they didn't smell some funny smells from where they were sitting on the backside of the horse. But at the end of the day, when Henry Ford asked them and he listened to what they were saying, what they were really telling him is they wanted to get places faster, more efficiently, and more reliably. All they knew to equate it to was a horse. But what they were really saying wasn't that they didn't want a horse that got tired. They wanted something more dependable that allowed them to get there faster. And lo and behold, what did he bring them? He brought them the horseless carriage, which was an automobile. So people don't really know what they want, don't really know what they need, but they know what they want. And your job as a salesperson is to listen and understand where that falls into play.
And then to help break it down into what their need is, as Henry Ford did. Why don't we finish up with new products and solutions? As new products and solutions become available from companies like Avery Dennison Performance Tapes, how do we sell innovation or innovative products?
You know, Robin, it's funny. I watch so many salespeople, and they're what I call the walking brochure. They're a really expensive brochure that all they're doing is they're rattling off feature, advantage, benefit, and they're talking about their product, but they're not really solving a problem. So how you present, especially a new product, makes a huge difference. And yes, there is question-based selling, and I'm a huge proponent of consultative selling. But when you're presenting a new innovative product to a client or to the masses, there's a couple steps you need to take. Number one, you need to establish credibility. Much how we started this broadcast or this webinar, we started off with my history. And I've got 20 years of sales experience, from my education to real world to what I'm doing and how I help clients. And what we're doing is we're setting a foundation that Tom knows what he's talking about. Well, same thing when you're presenting a product to a client. Hey, you're listening to Avery Dennison. We know what we're talking about when it comes to X, Y, and Z, pressure sensitive adhesives, so on. But then we have to identify an opportunity. If you're just simply presenting your product, whether you're a telemarketer trying to renew some auto insurance or the warranty on your car, we all know that, hey, we don't need it, and we're putting up the proverbial objections. But if you spend time identifying the opportunity, as Dave was talking about the EV market, and he was talking about where we're going with digital assets in cars, he's creating an opportunity. They have to be held on. We're seeing different things happen in the EV space. And the whole idea is to get the audience nodding yes. Hey, there's a challenge here. We recognize there's a challenge. If that challenge persists, what's going to continue to happen? We have spent the time just establishing credibility and identifying the opportunity, something the audience can relate to. And once they realize there is a challenge, there is an unmet need, only then are they actually ready for the solution. And that's when you can present the product. Here's what the product is, and here's how it solves that problem. And then after that, it's how do we customize it? So what more does that mean for you? How do we make this special for you and your business? So you establish the credibility that you're a knowledgeable source or resource for them. You know what you're talking about. We all gain agreement that there's an opportunity. If you don't recognize there's a problem that needs to be solved, the solution does you no good. Then you find the solution, and then we customize it for your business. And when you follow that flow, it helps people understand where an innovative product comes in, not just something that they didn't need yesterday, so I probably don't need it tomorrow.
Seems like a fairly simple and logical formula. And I like this slide a lot. It spells it out pretty well. This was a really interesting interview, Tom. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate that you spared this time with us and shared your guidance and expertise with us. So how can our viewers get a hold of you?
Yeah, Robin, my website is a great resource. It's shift-stc, sales train consult, stc.com, or they can email me directly at at shift-stc.com.
And I'm assuming also that at shift-stc.com, they can learn more about Shift.
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate all this time. Thank you. Thank you. We are just about ready to move into the Q&A with both of our guests. But before we do, there is still time for you to submit a question. If you have a question, you can post it now in the Q&A on the meeting toolbar. We do want to let you know that OnCore Live will continue next year. So be on the lookout for the date and time of the Q1 2023 OnCore Live, and that will be in the month of March. We now have our two guests. Well, we've got one back so far. We'll have our Q&A. Dave is going to be joining us here along with Tom. We'll get started with our first question. And let me see. Okay, this is to you, Tom. What are you seeing in today's digital world? And to that, what are the sales implications or opportunities?
Yeah, in the digital world today, everyone has the opportunity to be an expert in about 5 minutes. They can find their favorite search engine and do a search. And ease of access of information is critical. But not just any technical information, but differentiation. When people buy something, they buy what is different. In a lack of differences, they find something else that is different, perhaps price, perhaps time frame of delivery. I think about when I used to buy, if you were to go buy a camera, for example, I know in the late 90s, I needed to buy a camera. I walked into the store, I picked up 2 boxes, I read the boxes. Maybe the brand of one stuck out a little bit more. If I couldn't tell the difference, which one had nicer packaging, or maybe even which one was cheaper. Today, I'm going to go online and I'm going to find the camera I like. I'm going to find 3 reviewer results on it. I might find a YouTube video on it, but I'm going to seek for what's different. And so in the digital world, the importance of giving that access to your customers and helping them understand how your product differs, not how it's the same, not that, hey, this is a camera, that's a camera, but what makes it different. And then making it accessible that the buyer or the customer can actually go grab that information quickly and easily.
Yeah, that's great information. All right, let's move on. Another question. Okay. This is for you, Dave. What are the biggest challenges in our industry, and how is Avery Dennison addressing them? Good question.
No, thanks. Yeah, so I would say the biggest challenges still remain supply chain challenges at this point in time. While some of the things have gotten a little bit better, we still see some very acute challenges, in particular from the chemical and paper industries, where those things continue to disrupt our ability to supply in a timely manner. And unfortunately, a lot of times that happens very late in the process. So things are supposed to show up, they don't show up. And we're trying to manage through that the best we can. We've increased our safety stock levels. We've expanded collaboration with key suppliers, putting more contracts in place, as well as exploring alternative options, making sure that we are, we'll say, flexible enough to move back and forth as needed to make sure we're providing good quality products. The second piece is there's still inflation out there, which continues to bounce around. It's something we're watching closely, but it is something that continues to be a very relevant challenge for us here in the second half of 2022, and it looks like it'll be around here for a bit here in 2023 as well. So that volatility remains pretty high, but another thing we continue to do our best to manage and leverage our scale to make sure we're limiting the impact that has obviously on us and our customers.
Well, thank you for addressing those. I think that's great. Wait, there's another one for you, Dave. If something is not available, can Avery Dennison custom develop products?
Yeah, for sure. Something we actually find ourselves quite good at, whether it's a simple mix and match, or whether it is something that requires us to source new components or find new adhesives or new solutions. We can do all of the above. So I think it is something that we've kind of, over the years, has clearly become one of our key value propositions, is that, hey, if you have a problem to be solved, we're here to help you solve it. And that's through a myriad of different ways that we can do that. So yeah, please bring us anything that you might need, and we're happy to take a look at it and solve those problems for you.
It's fun, isn't it? Creation is fun. This is a question for you, Tom. Good one. Do customers prefer in-person visits from their sales reps or virtual?
You know, Robin, I think that's going to vary depending on the customer, as well as the value the customer sees with the salesperson. If they recognize you as a value-added contributor, they're probably going to want to see you in person. And whereas if they maybe are a little bit on the get to know you phase and they're really busy and tied up to their time, they may prefer something such as a Teams or a Zoom meeting. There's nothing better than that face-to-face. The small talk, the conversation before and the conversation after the meeting lends so much more to a relationship and your ability to listen and understand their needs. You can gain a lot more value that way. So whenever I can, I try and push for face-to-face. But where COVID brought us to embracing digital, I would say it's a close second. So it really depends on the customer, their preference, and the value they see in you.
And there is value in both, but I think I'm with you. I think in person is absolutely the way to go. Well, I've got to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate your time. That's it for this episode of OnCore Live Industry Insight Sessions. We really do appreciate your time and hope that you enjoyed this session as much as we did. From all of us here at OnCore Live, have a happy, safe, and joyful holiday season. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next year.